have this beautiful story of Manu, where, the Matsya Avatar of Lord Vishnu. Manu is the leader of mankind. Okay, and there's this story of the Vivaswat Manu, who's the current Manu, him being visited by a small fish when he was doing his prayers in the sea. Okay, he was somewhere in the southern part of the country, and he was doing his morning prayers, and he just takes water in his palm and do the morning prayers, and he sees this tiny fish in his hand, and the fish is talking to him, and the fish says that, listen, I'm very tiny, and I don't want to be in this water body. There are bigger fishes who can eat me. Please take me home. Manu is a kind soul. He takes the fish home, puts it in a kamandal. Okay. Within a few hours, the fish is big enough to pop out of the kamandal. And she's like, I will not survive here. Put me in a bigger vessel. He keeps changing the place where he puts the fish from a bigger vessel to ultimately a pond. And ultimately, he has to take the fish through a water body to the ocean. And then he has this question in his mind that, who are you? In one day, you grew so much. You're definitely not a fish. And that's when the fish says that I'm Vishnu. And I've come here to warn that there will be a global deluge. And everything as you know it will get submerged. So you have to get all the relevant, plants and animal species, and I'll send a boat. So it's very similar to Noah's Ark story, but Noah was supposed to build a boat. In this story, Vishnu says that I'll send a boat, but you get everything ready and you get the Saptarishis with you because they are responsible for passing on the knowledge. So even if you have all the raw material, but you do not have the knowledge to use it, what good is a civilization, right? Imagine what would happen today if we have a nuclear war and we do not have any records left, right? Just as what you said happened with our civilization, thousands of years ago because of invasions. The Nalanda University was, I think, burning for 11 or 13 days or so, right? So imagine the number of books, the manuscripts, the paper that was burnt there, so much knowledge lost. What happens when we lose that knowledge? You have to start again from the beginning. Again, coming back to science, there were also the ice ages that happened in between. And a lot of history got lost because of the ice ages as well.
So, one second. The Earth has cooling periods and warming periods. We're currently in a warming period. That's why global warming is catching on as much as it is. We are just accelerating it through pollution, etc.
It is bound to happen even otherwise.
But the Earth has, scientifically speaking, warming periods and cooling periods. What I do know is that the ice age was the peak of a cooling period and then therefore it melted away, which began the warming period.
Right.
What I want to ask you is that, are you saying that we actually, probably our culture, like Indian culture, went through a warming period even before?
Definitely. All our scientific intellect and developments and evolution of technology and everything, we are still susceptible to it. So imagine when that happens, when that loss of transmission happens, then you are left with nothing. That is why Vishnu says, keep the Saptarishis with you. So when Vishnu emerges as the Matsya again, and he has a horn, the fish has a horn on its head, okay, and with which they tie the boat using Vasuki. And that discussion that Vishnu gives them in that night of darkness where it's water everywhere, that's the Matsya Puran. That's the most recent Puran to have come to us. So it talk about everything of creation, of how things have been, how things will be. So this clearly, if you go scientifically, even if you don't believe in a giant fish saving humanity, there is a definite point towards a geographical event where there was inundation all over the globe. And some lucky people survived and they had the knowledge to continue their civilization.
It must have been a solar flare. Must have been a...
Could be tectonic upheavals. Could be, again, as I said, ice age meltdown. Could be anything, right? Our globe, Earth, is such an unpredictable entity. Suddenly you have ring of fire in the Pacific Ocean. There's where these tectonic plates meet. Wherever the tectonic plates meet, there's a more likelihood of earthquakes and volcanoes emerging. And again, interestingly, just because I got reminded of this, so there's this, the scriptures talk about something called a mare-shaped, mare is a female horse, a mare-shaped fire under the water. This was stored under the water to prevent destruction. Okay, so there was a rishi called Aurva because of various reasons, and it's related to the book that you were reading, Parshuram. So some circumstances happen, and this rishi, he's released this massive destructive energy. Ultimately, when destruction happens, it will be this underwater fire that will engulf the planet. So it probably predicts such a catastrophic volcanic event emanating from the waterbed, not from the land, but from the oceans. That will probably give rise to tsunamis. It can give rise to earthquakes. It can actually lead to emissions in the air. If just the atmosphere is blocked, we can't get sunlight, everything will die.